This evening, England begins their women's Ashes defence with a 4-wicket victory, despite another terrific display from Elise Perry with her 6th ODI half-century in a row.
That's a beautiful shot. We've seen some cracking shots down the ground. That's as good as any we've seen. And it brings up a half-century, a wonderful half-century from Elise Perry.
Hello, I'm Peter Wilkins and this is Grandstand. It's good to have your company. England has started its women's Ashes defence with a victory over Australia in the one-day international at Taunton. The Southern Stars made 238 and England reached the victory target with more than 4 overs to spare.
The women's Ashes uses a points system over 3 one-day games, a test and 3 2020s. First points went to the home team.
And is that close enough? Yes, it is. Finger is raised.
A 121-run partnership between Alex Blackwell and Elise Perry revived the Australian innings.
Lovely shot. That's a beautiful shot.
Vice-captain Blackwell was short of her ground on 58 and Perry's 78 extended her world record streak of half-centuries to 6 games.
Straight down mid-wicket slope.
4 run-outs restricted the Southern Stars to 238.
You always want more runs. If we'd had 30 or 40 more runs, it might have gone our way.
Australia's bowlers made a promising start, but a 122-run partnership between Lydia Greenway and Natalie Sivens set up England for a 4-wicket win over the world champions.
Their first victory of this series.
We talked about starting this series well. It's something we haven't done in the past, and I think we've done it as perfectly as we could have today.
The two teams meet again in Bristol tomorrow. In the men's Ashes, England selectors have made only one change after a heavy loss in the second test. Batsman Johnny Bairstow comes in for out-of-form number 3, Gary Ballance.
Oh, that's an edge first up.
The third test gets underway at Edgbaston next week. Duncan Huntsdale, ABC News.
Manly's players say they will be out to prove a point this weekend when they take on the Warriors. Up to 14 players have reportedly been told they aren't wanted next season, as well as the coach. Patrick Galloway reports.
The car park at Manly's headquarters was abuzz with speculation today.
We seem to have been dealing with problems and all that sort of stuff away from footy all the time.
After a disappointing loss on Monday, 14 players have been told their time is almost up.
He gets through Stewart, the Cowboys.
The hit list includes one of Manly's most loyal servants, Matt Ballin, and recent signing, Luke Burgess.
There's guys who get paid to make those decisions, and there's guys who get paid to play footy, and that's what we're doing, worrying about the footy side of things.
Feliti Mateo is another who's been targeted, but he's not prepared to walk away just yet.
I love the club, I love the place, and you know what the club's done for me so far. I just hope I can play good footy. So those sort of conversations go away.
Coach Jeff Tuvey is among those being pushed out as well, with Trent Barrett set to assume the role in 2015.
Training weeks, we're all there trying to support Tuvs, and I think it's just a game day prep.
The Seagulls are 13th on the ladder and facing the prospect of not making the NRL finals for the first time since 2004. But the players haven't given up hope just yet, with 7 games left.
We definitely do have a point to prove.
The Roosters continue to support Sean Kenny-Dowell, who missed last weekend's win over the Warriors. The winger is preparing to answer domestic violence allegations.
We haven't stood him down. It's simply because he's not right to play. So, once he is, I'm sure he'll be straight back in our team.
In a change to the rules next season, the number of interchanges will be reduced from 10 to 8, while a shot clock will also be introduced to better manage line dropouts and scrums. Patrick Galloway, ABC News, Sydney.
The Australian women's basketball team is preparing for its Olympic qualification showdown against New Zealand with 3 warm-up matches against Japan next week in Victoria. Liz Cambage makes a welcome return to the Opals for the Oceania Series after serious injury in a transitional phase for the team. Opals coach Brendan Joyce joins me from Wollongong. Brendan, good to have your company. The positive, first of all, Liz Cambage coming back into the team after that long layoff through injury. Are you going to play her against Japan or wait for the Oceania Series?
Well, we've really got to test her out against Japan, Pete. Get some training sessions under her belt. It's been a long process, as you say, 11 months, missing the World Championships. Went down the week before Worlds. We managed to go on and play great and win a bronze medal. But yeah, we need to test Liz out, get some more practice under her belt. She's been rehabbing, been on the court, but with the team, and probably play some minutes against the Japan team to prepare for the big series against New Zealand.
Her return is negated somewhat by the absence of Penny Taylor. Was that a conversation? Was it a discussion with Penny, a negotiation, shall we say, or was it a request?
Yeah, look, I communicate with all the players overseas, and Penny has had some injuries that she's been playing with, and her goal is to get to Rio, and realistically, to play back-to-back seasons, WNBL, WNBA, that was going to probably risk that of happening. So Penny's really taking care of her body right now, and probably most likely to play in the WNBA next year, but also for us at Rio, providing everything goes well. So, it's tough for the girls. You have to play sometimes back-to-back seasons in order to make money and make enough money, and it obviously puts a lot of stress on their bodies. And then you've got the commitments with the Opals as well. So, we've got some new younger players. What that does is open the opportunity for some younger players to play for their country, and our focus is really about trying to do the best we can, and obviously to qualify for the Olympics by beating New Zealand.
Absolutely. We'll get to those younger players in a moment, Brendan, but first of all, no Opal's discussion would be complete without Lauren Jackson, and her injury run has been somewhat traumatic on a personal level. What's your belief at this current moment about Lauren's future in the game?
Yeah, obviously we'd love Lauren. She's been one of our greatest players up there with Penny Taylor. They're pretty special and unique, those two girls. And, as you say, Lauren didn't play last year, didn't play at the Worlds, has been injured now for about 18 months. Again, she's rehabbing, doing everything she can to have a last shot, I guess, at the Olympic Games. And, obviously the biggest goal we have is to challenge USA. We've never beaten the USA in Olympic Games, or never beaten them in a major tournament for a medal. So for us to win a gold medal, we have to get past them, and we want to have the best players that we possibly can. And obviously Lauren's one of those. Will she get there? I guess we're all hoping she does, but again, we won't know for a few months depending on her rehab.
You've also got a dilemma, Brendan, with your WNBL stars, up to 7 or 8. It's a bit of a catch-22, isn't it? That the bonus of the talent pool is that they are lured overseas, but then you're finding them hard to grab onto for these tournaments. How many do you think will be available? And I understand there's a bit of a cash sidelight involved in those proceedings.
Yeah, look, it makes it difficult. We've only got so many funds from the Australian Sports Commission to prepare and develop players, as well as, prepare, take the players overseas to prepare long-term for the Olympic Games. But, look, just today I watched the game in the WNBA, Phoenix and Los Angeles. We had 4 of our players that went to the World Championships: Mariana Tolo, Erin Phillips, Kayla Francis and Leilani Mitchell. All performed great, and that's... this is the negative. You perform great, you win a medal, and then they get recruited. So, look, we can't stop the girls from playing at the highest level. I encourage that, but it does make us tough with the qualifiers. But again, it opens the door for an opportunity for younger players to step up and put their hand up to say, hey, I'm in this thing to try and make the Olympic team as well.
And just clarifying that, Brendan, you have to pay a sort of a penalty if you want to get those players back to represent for the Opals for these 2 series.
Yeah, not only pay a penalty, we have to have access, seek access from the coaches, which we've done. And I can't say at this point in time, but it looks like we're going to have one of them. We'll probably know that for sure. I don't really want to talk to her about it until it's actually, clear and it's going to happen. But at least with all the players we've got over there, at least we might be able to access one of them for our qualifiers.
Brendan, thanks very much for joining us. Good luck with the series next week in provincial Victoria, and then against New Zealand in the Olympic qualifiers.
Yeah, thanks very much, Pete.
Sydney FC kick off their pre-season tonight in the inaugural Johnny Warren Community Challenge. Head coach Graham Arnold enters his second season in charge of the Sky Blues, and the ABC's Lucas Fonton started by asking him whether he'd recovered from the disappointment of last season's A-League Grand Final loss to Melbourne Victory.
Oh, well past it. I was past it the day after. You know, that's football. Melbourne Victory were better than us on the night. It didn't make our season a failure at all. We had a very good season. We qualified for Asian Champions League. We came second. We pushed them all the way, and but they were better on that one given night. And we'll take lessons away from that, and we'll come back bigger and stronger next year.
And you had some really good head-outs against Tottenham and also against Chelsea. It must have given your side some confidence, and also probably just exciting to be a part of those kind of big matches.
Yeah, look, I think it's the same now with Adelaide playing Liverpool last night. You know, it's great for the Australian players to test themselves up against top quality opposition, players that they sit and watch on TV every week and idolise. And to be able to test themselves against them and come out of it with their heads held high and showing that the A-League is getting stronger and stronger is great for the players.
Would you have rather play your two matches now, sort of heading into pre-season, or at the end of the season?
No, look, I think our games against Tottenham and against Chelsea, the intensity was better because both teams were still fresh and fit from the end of the season. You know, all the clubs, including the A-League clubs, have had 6-7 weeks off. They just started pre-season. They've only been back in training for 1 or 2 weeks. So, they're being more careful now than what they would have been at the end of the season.
You've lost a few players with Bernie Abini, Milos Dimitrovic, and the big one, I suppose, Mark Yanko, particularly in your attacking third. Are you confident you've got the numbers to firstly cover off all those matches, and secondly to find the goals?
Yeah, look, I think that's the aim. There's never any guarantees, but of course we'll work hard to make sure that we try and replace those players. But I'm very confident with the signing of Filip Olosko and Milos Ninkovic that they're two outstanding players with, they both played international football, they've both been to a World Cup, they're both at a very good age, at the age of 30, so they come out with a lot of experience but good pedigree. So we're expecting them to come out and do extremely well for Sydney FC, but also, to lighten up the A-League.
What can you do this year to go that one step further?
We went a long way last year, and from the start of the season, from when I went into where we finished up, I don't think anyone would have given us a chance of making the grand final in year one that I've been at the club. And we had the injuries through the year, and we fought back very well in the second half of the season. If we can do what we did in the second half of the season, all season, well, then we'll be thereabouts again. And what's important is that we do the 1% as well, and we set high standards and be better than what we were in last year in every department.
Racing authorities are being urged to tighten their safety regulations following the deaths of 2 track riders earlier this year. The deaths are still being investigated by WorkSafe Victoria, but industry insiders fear there could be more tragedies unless better rules are put in place.
For 18-year-old Beth Allday, there's nothing else quite like it.
Got this horse beneath you galloping, and it's a huge thrill, really.
Beth is among the latest crop of students completing the Melbourne Polytechnic track riding course.
Maybe one behind each other to start with the lengths in between.
Debbie Jones has been teaching track riders for decades.
Steady a little bit, just steady, that's good. It's such a different type of sport. There's so many more skills required for it that I think that a lot of people think that they can do it, and perhaps they can't.
Under the current rules, track riders are given work without any formal assessment of their riding ability. They ride at the discretion of trainers.
Trainers are always looking for track riders, so that's where the problem lies, that they will be willing to give somebody a go, even if they don't know whether they're able to or not.
The issue has been in the spotlight following the deaths of 2 track riders at Caulfield earlier this year. The circumstances are still being investigated, but authorities are being urged to act.
You can't just hop in a car and drive a car until you've done your hours and you've got a licence and somebody's tested you, but we don't have that in the racing industry. Sure, as a jockey you have that, but you don't have it in track riding.
Racing Victoria says it's reviewing all its safety policies and may consider a new licensing system. The students know there will always be dangers.
I think it's on the back of every horse rider's mind, whether it be a little Shetland or a huge Clydesdale. It's something that they always have to think about.
A risk that comes with plenty of rewards. Damien McIver, ABC News.
And that's Grandstand for now. Remember, you can also watch us on iView and the Grandstand website. See you soon.